This is Quantum Flow Radio, organizing thought particles into a flow of collective consciousness.
My friend, welcome.
Thank you.
Good to see you again.
It's good to see you.
Yeah. How are things?
Everything's great.
Things. Interesting word, right?
Namaste.
Namaste.
May my inner spirit greet your inner spirit.
There you go. Love it.
Yep.
One of my favorites.
Yes.
It is Sanskrit.
It is.
Yep. Which brings me to
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah. Other stuff that's based in old languages and ancient wisdom and things like that. So I'll let you take the lead. It looks like you're all set to go with some props.
And we won't give it a name. But guess what that is?
There really isn't a name, but I would say it's the now moment.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. It's everything.
Vibration.
Yeah, well that kind of draws your attention into. Here, we'll try it again.
Yeah.
It's very soothing, isn't it?
It is. I was just thinking to myself, okay, I'm chill right now, so go ahead.
Just let it ring out. It's nice.
Yeah, the air conditioning vents even stopped and waited for it.
So what is now?
What is now?
Yeah.
That's a great question, isn't it? I wonder who would be able to answer that. I think if you probably asked 100 people.
Nobody in this room. Right?
Yeah, probably not. But if you asked 100 people, what would be their answer? You know, you have so many definitions coming from people like Eckhart Tolle and Alan Watts and so many of great writers and philosophers and so we always have to just ask ourselves, what is the now moment? And can we actually really, truly capture the now moment?
Well, like you said, a lot of people have discussed it, written about it. It's almost kind of an elusive thing because as soon as you discuss now, you're on to the next now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's come to us many different ways. Some people would say carpe diem.
Yes.
Seize the day.
Yep.
Yeah. It also brings up to mind the guy Jack in the Titanic movie.
Yeah.
They're trying to figure out this guy, where he comes from and what he's doing, and he's just like, make it count.
Yeah.
This is all kind of ties into the now moment.
Mm-hmm.
What is the now moment, and why should we be so aware of it?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're not, then are you missing something? You might be. Probably you are.
Yeah.
But maybe we could define it like this. I'll ask you. Give me a memory. It could be any memory from the past.
A memory from my past.
It could be something good.
Okay, I would say, thinking top of mind, something that maybe everyone remembers, at least in this country, is getting my driver's license.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Were you 16?
Yeah, I was 16.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a big day.
It is.
It's like you have freedom all of a sudden.
Yeah, you got braces and a driver's license.
Okay. So you're standing in line and you go through the test and you finally get that driver's license and you're very excited.
Yeah.
You remember that moment, right?
Right.
Now, when did that moment happen?
Right now.
Well, it didn't, but yes, it did. But I mean, it was.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. We're
Yeah.
not going to. We don't have to give a specific year, but it was many years ago.
Yeah, a long time ago.
And it was at a moment that you got your driver's license, and you're remembering it now.
Right.
So we have the past moment, and we have the present moment.
Yes.
Okay. They're all happening kind of now.
Right.
Right.
Where else would they be happening?
Well, that's just it. Say you went back a week ago and thought about that moment.
Sure.
When would it be happening?
It would be happening a week ago and right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, thinking about it a week ago, and then also the original memory, you're conjuring that up.
Right, because the memory is what we're pulling up again.
Yeah.
It's in there now. Because if I said to you, think about your car out in the driveway, you just did.
Right.
And because it's immediate recall and it's right there and you know what it looks like and you know where it is and you know the surroundings and you had that experience, so boom, it's easy to pull that up. And same thing with me getting my driver's license and anything else that takes place. We store that memory and then we recall it.
It's the conscious attention to that, and also extracting how you felt from that moment. We'll get to that in a minute, but I want to kind of go to future time here.
Sure.
So think about something in the future, like it could be anything. Say you're going on a vacation or something, or
Sure. Something from the future. This would have to be
a future moment that you'd be excited about.
a trip to Europe.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so where are you going?
I'm going to go to Greece.
Ah, yes, Greece.
Yeah.
Greece is beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what they tell me.
You've never, come on, you've never been?
Never been there.
Okay,
No.
well, you'll be there.
Yeah.
In fact, maybe in your dreams.
Maybe.
Yeah. But you'll be there when it.
Or would it really matter?
Yeah. It may not. But for the sake of argument here,
Yes.
you're in Greece 2 years from now.
Right.
Okay. And you're thinking about it now.
Providing that Greece actually exists now or 2 years from now.
Oh, you're getting too complicated
Yeah,
now.
okay, sorry, go ahead.
We have to keep this, simplify it. That moment that you're going to be in Greece in 2 years, that'll happen in a now moment.
Right.
And
2
you're
years
thinking
from now.
about it now. A week from now, you'll be thinking about that trip, but it'll still be a now moment. So all there is the now moment.
Because that's where we are.
It seems like that's not true, but when you really take yourself through this exercise of now moment, that's all there is. So that tells us one thing. It could tell us a lot of things, but probably the biggest is that all time and space may occur just like that.
Just
right?
like
Just like
that.
Just like that.
Sure.
That's all there is.
And then it just reverberates and vibrates and goes out and out and out and out. And
Forever.
Out. Forever.
We may not hear the very ending of it. We don't know where it ends.
No, but we know it's there.
Yeah. And it
Where else
begins
would it
with it begins with that first thought about whatever we're thinking about. Now the crazy thing here is if time and space is an illusion, just perhaps maybe that it's just happening all at once. And I don't want to lose you here, but it's almost kind of folds upon itself to a point in that some people talk about a singularity. That's more of an AI, but I talk about the singularity meaning of the moment. There's a singularity of everything. So all history and all future events and everything that's happening right now is all happening simultaneously.
Right.
Yet we're only able to receive this one vibration transmission right at this time.
Bites.
But yeah, but it's all happening, the past, present. That's why we have this huge connection to things, memories, and then also we also are able to tap into what could potentially could happen in the future.
Sure.
We kind of manifest and create our future self, but we're doing it right now.
Yes.
So it could be that there's these parallel dimensions.
Multiverses.
Or multiverses.
Right.
And one's happening at this pace or this. One's happening out. So we could be in the Old West right now.
Yep.
And we could also be in a spaceship.
Yeah.
Or we could
Showing
just be
that
sitting in chairs right now.
Time travel truly is possible.
Yeah. Possibly through this multi-dimensional expansion of our mind.
So when I got up this morning, if I was thinking, should I have a cup of tea or a cup of coffee? And I decided on the coffee. Somewhere else, there is some energy of me having tea. That thought can't go away. It has to go somewhere.
And probably you had the variation of maybe not having anything.
Sure.
Or having orange juice.
Yeah, because those are options also.
But the fact that when you woke up and you thought about tea and coffee, those were the most likely outcomes of what you were going to do.
Yes, based on a series of events taking place now.
If you went to the kitchen and you found out that you were out of your favorite tea, more than likely you go to the coffee.
Correct.
And then if you're out of the coffee too, you're probably headed to Dunkin' Donuts or something.
Somewhere, yeah. Yeah, the power's on.
But see, but that's a new now moment. That's something that was created through, what you're doing.
Sure, but it all begins in thought. Everything originates in thought. If you're going to brush your teeth, you first have to think about brushing your teeth.
Oh, well, that's the creative process of everything we do.
Right.
Yeah.
So these moments of now, I kind of like, I look at it as if it were, our infinite universe complete with multiverses. Okay, if you were to put some sort of a finite image to it, if you were to look at it as being, let's say, a gigantic clear plastic trash bag, okay, and everything in the universe is in that clear plastic trash bag, then you know that everything that ever happened or ever will happen or could possibly happen or didn't happen or was thought about or manifested or created itself in form or didn't, all of that is in that one clear plastic trash bag. Nowhere else but in there. And therefore, everything that ever was or ever will be or ever is now.
Mm-hmm.
Just not directly accessible by everyone at one time. You know, right now, as you and I are sitting here talking, there's somebody else that's sitting on a computer typing on the keyboard. Somebody else is driving a car. Somebody's flying an airplane. Somebody's cooking a meal. Somebody is preparing a sermon for Sunday. Somebody's doing something
Right.
at exactly the same time.
Correct.
And they're basically all us and we're all them in separate individualizations.
Separate experiences.
Right.
Because I can't be doing all of that.
Right. But we are through other
right.
means or through other, through the Max Planck called it the matrix of consciousness.
I feel you.
You feel me?
No, I really do. I feel you.
Yeah.
I feel you. I tap into that, so I subscribe.
So there you go. And that's how I kind of like to explain it, is say that everything, even if someone passes away, well, where do they go? They're right here. Where else do you go? Even that spiritual realm or whatever it is that we want to call it, or heaven or the afterlife or all of that, it's still here.
You bring up a great point. They may leave this earth, but there's something still there from them for you.
Right.
So that just furthers how important the now moment truly is, in that we should really embrace each and every moment we have, especially with other people. I always go back to, if you can't be with the one you want,
or if you can't love the one you
can't
want,
love
the one you're with.
You love the one you're
Stephen
with.
Stills.
So, exactly. We might have quoted that before, but it shows you that make the most of this moment, kind of like what Jack did on the Titanic.
Yeah.
Not waiting for the future or worried about the future, and not conjuring up all the past crap that you had to go through. That's all in the past.
Right.
What right now is now.
Right.
You can start something right now. You can end something right now.
And
now is now.
All we have is now. So if you're thinking about the past or thinking about the future, then you're wasting now on something that already was or never, or perhaps may never be.
The guy that goes to work, his boss yells at him, he has a horrible day. Mm-hmm. He comes back home and he spends the next 2 or 3, 4 hours being upset about what happened at work. Mm-hmm. You've just ruined your own time.
Right.
Worrying about it.
I'm really good at that.
Yeah. Well, now maybe you do have to think through some things, like how you're going to approach the next day, or maybe not have the next day be as bad. Mm-hmm. So you do have to kind of go through the mental exercise of clearing up like what happened, and then kind of setting your next day. But you don't walk around, cursing out this guy for 4 hours, because that'll get you nowhere.
Right.
Maybe you ought to love the guy more. Who knows? Just try something different. But you got to change it up. But again, the now moment is all there is, and I see so many people, especially young people, not embracing now. They may think they're in the now moment, but they're looking at their phones. They're distracted by so many different things. They forget to look up. Mm-hmm. So look at the sky. Look at the stars at night. See the moon, the sun, nature. Embrace other things that are the beautiful things that are around you.
Right.
We're too quick to get in our cars and drive somewhere, just completely within our own thoughts. Thinking's good, but yet we're not really embracing the things that are beautiful right there.
Sure.
In
And
front of us.
ego will you look at a flower, and ego will tell you, hey, it's a flower.
But it makes you smile.
Spirit will tell you, smell it. Look at the petals. See the colors.
Right.
Feel the texture. Imagine the birth of that flower. Imagine it opening and blooming. This is where the deeper part of us would connect to actually say it's more than just a flower.
And not just a flower, but the environment the flower's in. Mm-hmm. When we take a mental picture of the flower, we see the flower, but where is it? Is it a meadow? Is it in a flower box?
Right.
it's the whole picture.
Exactly.
There's so much more than just that.
And there's generally a message in there for us,
of course,
as well.
Yeah.
You know, not much more than just, hey, flower. No, there's always something else there. We have to pay more attention to it.
And do you believe that flower knows you're looking at it, in that it captures your energy and it makes it shine?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, we can't. We've proven through quantum technology that everything must have an observer in order to be observed, in order to actually be. So if we're not observing something, it really isn't.
Right.
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 So even in that now moment that we keep talking about, the magical part of the now moment is we can't chase it. It always is, because if we try to chase it, then it becomes linear. And then we say, okay, well, we just missed that now moment. Oh, and there it goes again. And there it goes again.
You'll never get it.
You'll never get it, because even with your process of, let's say, the thoughts are going to travel. You know, if I touch my knee, that information is going to travel, 250 miles an hour to my nervous system and tell me that I just touched my knee. But by that time, it's too late.
Yeah.
That now moment's gone. It's now history. And those now moments become pictorial images. See, the subconscious mind works in pictures,
right,
and images. That's why it can't understand negative statements. And by negative statements, I don't mean things that are bad. I mean things that are in negative form. For example, if you want to stop eating pizza, let's say, and you wake up in the morning and you begin doing these affirmations. I will not eat pizza. I will not eat pizza. I will not eat pizza. Well, you're defeating yourself, because all the subconscious mind hears is pizza.
Yeah.
It doesn't understand I will not, I cannot, I won't, I shouldn't. It doesn't understand those
Within
things.
that phrase is eat pizza.
Right. And that's the positive.
Yeah.
Of the negative.
Sure. Yeah.
So if you pull up to a lake and there's a sign, and it's on the sign is a guy in the water swimming, and then there's a big circle with a red line through it, it's telling you no swimming. But the subconscious mind doesn't see the circle, the red circle with the line through it. It will only see some guy swimming, because if you're not swimming, you're doing something else. You can't draw a picture of somebody not swimming, you see. So when the subconscious mind takes these experiences that we have, these now moments.
That's interesting. I never thought. You're right. They have to show a picture of a person swimming to show what not swimming is.
Right. Exactly. You can't draw a picture of somebody not swimming, because it would be a picture of somebody doing something else.
It would be everything else.
Right. So what the mind does, it works much like a movie.
Yeah.
It's a motion picture. The movies that we watch are not fluid images. You know, it's not like one great big fluid image. It's a series of frames.
Yeah, the old pictures you could actually see.
Right, still
the
shots.
Space,
whether it's 60 frames per second, whatever. I don't even know
Stop
what it
motion
is
is like that. So.
Right. So what happens is, once these individual images are taken at a particular speed and beyond, they become fluid. And it doesn't look like single images anymore. But the subconscious mind stores everything that we experience in single shot images. Those are individual now moments.
Got it. Yeah.
See, so when we recall something, when we remember something, okay, when you're a member of something and you're not there anymore, then and you want to join again, then you have to remember. See, so when we go back in time and we pull up these images, these experiences, where are we pulling them up to? We're pulling them up to right now.
Yeah.
So that we can see them again, so we can experience them again.
Right.
You know, our senses assist us in so many different ways. But if you were to take somebody, I'm sorry, I keep blabbing here, but if you were to take somebody,
I'm listening, so
blindfold them, okay, and stick them in your car, drive them out to a warehouse somewhere, and set them down on a patch of sand, and turn on some fans, and put the speakers to sound like ocean waves coming in and out, okay? And you ask them where they think they are, they're going to tell you, I'm at the beach.
Sure.
Then you take the blindfold off, and they're in a warehouse, okay, with sound effects and fans, okay? But the mind perceived it as being the beach, because it looks back and says, okay, well, what else have I had as an experience that I can relate this to?
And more than likely, they never had the experience of sand in a warehouse, or so
exactly.
It could only equate
and so
to the
if
beach.
you've never been to the beach before, you don't know what it's like to be at the beach.
Yeah.
So you have to have that first. You know, and the other part of this now moment thing, I'll go one more thing and then I'll turn it over to you. It's very interesting because the way our subconscious mind works, it's almost like it's a machine. It's like a servo mechanism. Okay, it's there to serve us.
Right.
It has a default program. Okay, and it's built to survive. So if we set a goal, let's say let's say we're going bowling, okay? And we want to get a strike, right? The more we bowl, the better we get at bowling, and the higher our odds are that we'll get a strike. So what happens is the subconscious mind goes to work and tries different things to get you to that goal of a strike. And it actually learns through the process what steps to take to reach that goal. And there are a lot of failures along the way. I don't like the word failure because if you deal in eternity, there's never the concept of failure.
Right.
But let's just say that event was not on the targeted goal. Okay. Ultimately, you do it enough, the subconscious mind, it's like walking. Ultimately, the subconscious mind will remember all of the patterns needed to get you to that strike. And then when you get your strike, it's got it.
Yeah.
It knows what to do. All the other stuff that we went through to get there is now irrelevant. It doesn't matter. And you don't have to analyze what just happened because we know it's the culmination of all of the practice, all of the sin, or all of the thing, whatever you want to call it, okay, that got us to that point. And now what got us there is really not important anymore. What's important is that we're there.
Bam.
Right. That
Bang.
moment.
Just like that.
Exactly.
You
So
know,
that's my take on it. Sorry, I was rambling and rambling.
No. You know, what's interesting, I'd like to maybe set an example of a person that's not in the now moment. And this is probably most of us during the day.
Right.
Let me set the scene here. Okay, so you're a parent. You come back from work. You have to pick up your kid from school. By 6 o'clock, you got to get there, or they fine you, or they put your kid in some jail.
Right. Late jail.
So you know how it was. So you're driving there, and you're thinking about being late, and you're not thinking about anything else. And then you got to get that light, and then you get the child, pick up your child, and then you have to get home, and you have to make dinner, and then you got to let the dog out. Hey, listen, maybe not everybody goes through this routine, but it could be anything. It could be whatever you do, but you're so busy, in a hurry, trying to do many things, multitasking, tons of things that you do during the day. You lose yourself. You literally lose yourself, and not in a good way. And when you lose yourself, you're not yourself.
No.
It's not you.
No.
You're not vibrating at the highest you can be.
Right.
It's not a necessarily feel-good moment. When you have to do a million things, yeah, we do feel a sense of accomplishment maybe after we get it all done, or we didn't mess it up. We did pick up the child's safe, we fed, everyone got fed and everyone got to bed, and hey, we can put that day away.
And all of those things are based on the illusion of time.
Exactly. And at the very, very end of the day, maybe at that moment we take a bitter pill and maybe we can reflect on a little bit. But more than likely, we're on to the next day. Just like what I said, we have to set the table for the next day. This is a situation where less is truly more. If we can take ourselves in a less busy life, can be a more spiritual life. And it's amazing. We think we have to do so much.
Yeah.
We have to do this, and this to get a desired response. But it may not have to be that way. Life can be a lot more creative, and it may come at you from a completely different place, meaning satisfaction and stuff. Sometimes if we let go, who knows, maybe, your son or daughter gets a ride home that day. Just things will work out if you want them to. But if you think the worst, then that's kind of like what's going to manifest.
Right.
And then my only other point on the now moment is this, and this is probably the most profound thing. I'm not sure if anybody really, in all my readings and books I've read, I'm not sure if I've really heard anybody take a slant on it like this, but here, let's try it. The now moment can be shared. And for instance, the power that could come from the conscious thought of mass people thinking the same thought at the same moment.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
A true now moment. And we've experienced some of these things mostly through maybe bad events that happen in the news, and everybody kind of consciously takes it in and goes, "Oh my gosh!"
Yeah.
And so there's a pause, and almost you can feel it. At least the empaths and the enlightened people kind of tap into this and say, "Oh wow, this vibration's heavy," or whatever it would be.
Right.
But we could flip that, and actually we could probably do amazing things, curing things. For instance, if everyone had the same thought about feeding everybody in the world at the same moment,
Right.
somehow, kind of like in the Bible where manna fell from the sky.
Sure.
It
Food
just
would
happened.
Manifest.
Yeah, manifest. Manna. That's weird. That's weird. Manna, because, boy, what a play on words. You're the wordsmith, though, so I shouldn't be doing this.
I love words.
Yeah. So just take that in. I mean, imagine everybody thinking the same thought at the same moment. Just we could cure things, solve things, heal things. Just the energy that would come from that. Who knows what would happen?
Sure. And it's
we could create a whole new. Woo, that's a poppy.
No, it's okay, and it's measurable energy.
Yeah, and we could create a whole new dimension, a utopia. Maybe shift into a new level of consciousness.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, hey, but unless we try, we'll never know.
Right.
And so what I'd love to see is when all this stuff just falls apart, and we know it's coming. I mean, it may come in different ways, but say your normal daily life changes. That's maybe a wake-up call where people will come together and think the same thought, and then we will move and shift into a better place.
Yeah.
You know?
It's almost like a reverse tug of war.
Right.
You know, you got all these people over here pulling, you got all these people over here pulling. They're always pulling.
Right.
Nobody's ever pushing.
Right.
You know, because it would collapse upon itself.
It brings up another word. You were talking about Sanskrit before.
Yeah.
Isn't karma?
Yes.
Yeah.
Karma is a Sanskrit word that simply means doing. Nothing more than that. It's not being punished for something you did in another life, and all. It's basically it means doing. So whatever your current circumstances are, is your doing. But here's the trick, and this is where nobody tells you beyond that. See, if you and I spend our days doing good stuff, okay, only positive things, helping people, doing the right thing, you know, all of these things, okay, all of these elements. If we spend that time only doing good, then the law of karma should state that we'll get nothing but good back, okay?
Do you subscribe? I mean, is this what you truly believe?
Yes, but.
But. I knew there was a but coming.
There's a but, yeah. There's a wrench in the works.
Yeah.
We're also susceptible to what is called race karma. And that is what everybody else is thinking and doing. So I can do all the good stuff that I want, and I'll get good stuff in return for that. But if somebody else is doing bad stuff, I'll also get some of that too. Even though I didn't cause it. Someone caused it. See? So that's race karma. So as a race, let's say a human race at this point, if we were to all, just like you said, having that same thought at that moment, at that now moment, if we were to all come together, okay, and have and do thought and action, only good stuff, then everyone would experience only good stuff.
Right. Put down the hate. Put down the aggression. Put down
absolutely
the judgment.
All of the negative emotions.
Yeah, everything, just the whole bag. And if we thought a good thought, maybe it doesn't even need to be the same thought. It could just be a thought of goodness or of love.
Right.
It could be a universal, just, you know, at this moment, 12 o'clock tomorrow, we're all going to think about love.
Sure.
That's kind of hokey, but
it's the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, you see? And when we choose the right thought, which will ultimately go into the right action, and if everybody would do that, then we would have a remarkably different world than we have right now.
It'd be a beautiful, healing world. Yeah, and you'd feel safe from your own fears.
Sure. And we wouldn't need war. We wouldn't need militaries. We wouldn't need a police force. We wouldn't need lawyers. We wouldn't need any of that.
Think about
it
the
would be
resources.
utopia.
Yeah, think about the resources we could save.
Sure.
And then, turn that to good.
Yeah.
To provide for
Sure,
everyone.
take that $400 billion military budget and put it into medical supplies
but we're not
or
talking,
food. Or,
we're not talking about a controlling socialistic type of... No, we're just talking about...
unity.
Yeah, just unity on a level, but then unity with the ability to give you your full independence.
Sure.
And an independence like you've never had before. Independence of thought.
Yeah.
And true freedom,
right? Of
not feeling like you're being sucked into a vacuum of
yeah. I mean, if you're
forces.
Let's say if you're in the inner city, okay, in a place that may not be very safe, and you're walking down the street and it's late at night, okay, what places fear in your heart isn't your karma, it isn't your doing, it isn't what you're about to do to yourself. It's what somebody else may be doing or about to do to you.
But you're involved in that.
You are involved in that. Yeah, exactly. And there are many ways of looking at that. One is, you could say, well, what are you doing, walking through bad part of town late at night, or what if you were thinking all positive things? Or, I mean, there's so many different things that can happen. Perhaps that person that you feared shows up, tries to rob you. You start having a conversation with them. You find out what a crappy day they had. They're just trying to pay their bills. They're having a hard time in life. You end up having a conversation. One helps the other helps the other, and ultimately it ends up being a good experience.
Move to the country, maybe.
Yeah.
You keep getting mugged in these alleys.
Yeah, exactly. But there are things we can do about it. But each time that we have those experiences, we get better and better about the next thing. Unfortunately, a lot of people will return to the same pattern, know?
Yeah, and if you don't, obviously every event is a little bit of a lesson.
Sure.
I mean, if you're not paying attention, you have to understand that you learn from these experiences, and you should not be maybe doing risky things in a city in the middle of the night.
Right.
If you do, then maybe karma will come and visit you in a way. And that way could be, well, something happens to you which really shakes you and then says, maybe I should never do this again.
Yeah, or maybe that still small voice inside you that said don't do it in the first place is the voice that you listen to next time.
Yeah, that voice may become more powerful, more prevalent. It might make more sense.
Yeah.
Or you might be listening to it eventually. Yeah. But then karma will take place. I think karma is... Well, I mean, it's just thrown around nowadays. I mean, everyone's like got karma,
and they all see it as negative. But karma is not negative nor positive; it just is.
Yeah,
it's a result of a thought or an action, cause and effect, basically.
I think the way it is being thrown around, like I was walking down the road the other day and I saw somebody that had karma on their shirt.
Right.
And obviously, I was going, oh, my gosh, what did I do?
Yeah,
Because I was just like, I knew it was for me.
Yeah.
And I took it as something bad.
Right.
Like, hey, you did something. Here's a sign, literally.
Yeah.
Karma written on this person's shirt. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I was stuck in that now moment for about a half an hour. I was just like, what is this? Really, I was like, wow. But then, and then I saw the person who was wearing it and everything else, and I tried to put it in context and try to extract exactly, boil it down to what's the true meaning of this. I'm still working on it, and when I finally figure it out, I'll let you know. But the fact is that there was something there, something that I needed to pay attention to, and I'm trying to be better.
Yeah.
And this comes with the karma. You always hear people say, I'm on a really bad stretch of luck, or, this happened and this happened, bad karma, whatever.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. It doesn't have to be that. That's the interpretation.
Sure.
And if we see it and recognize it at a point, we can flip it, and then the karma can work with us.
Yeah. And it's the public's role to understand that karma is not particularly a bad thing. But what'll happen is, if there's a road rage incident, and whether now there's video cameras everywhere because everybody's got a phone, right? So if there's a road rage incident, some guy gets out of his car at the traffic light and starts, beating on somebody's car and, calling them names and, because of they did something that bothered them, whatever, and then they trip on something, fall down and break their arm, okay? People will say, well, karma came around, got your karma, but if somebody is a homeless guy and walks past a young lady whose car broke down or ran out of gas, let's say, and there's a gas station right there, and she has no money, but he's got $5, and he says, look, I'll just give you my $5. Let's get some gas for your car, right? And he gets gas in her car. Now, she's got a car. She's got a place to live. He's a homeless guy. That was his last $5, right? But down the road, she bumps into him about 2 weeks later, and she gives him $50.
Right.
Hey, thank you so much for helping me out that day. It was really important. So that's karma, too.
That's true.
But they never say he got his karma.
No, they never, you'll see somebody hey, these guys won the Super Bowl. Must have been karma. No, it never comes like that. But you're right.
No. And the interesting thing about Super Bowl is you have these people on this team, let's say Team A,
right,
that are all praying to win the Super Bowl. And then you have Team B, and they're all praying to win the Super Bowl, okay?
Right.
And they're praying to God,
sure,
infinite wisdom, Sophia, the universe, whatever you want to call it, okay? And meanwhile, somebody's going to lose the game.
Somebody's going to win.
And somebody's going to win the game. So what does God say to both of those prayers?
Karma, baby.
Yeah, exactly. And also says, guys, just enjoy the game.
And it is just a game. See, that's just it.
Yeah,
we take it a little bit. Enjoy the game. There's something we can take from winning and losing.
Yeah.
And the joy of winning comes from the experience of losing. If we always won, we would never
know what it's like to lose.
We wouldn't know we wouldn't know the great feeling that might come from it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that person you were talking about before, that you try and try and try, and eventually you may get it.
Yeah.
And eventually when you finally get it,
yeah,
it's not all the stuff that did in the past. It's that now moment of like, wow, yeah, I got there.
Exactly. And it is a game. Life is a game.
Yeah.
There's a great book called The Game of Life. It was written by Florence Scovel Shinn in 1925, and it's a great read even today.
Well, The Game of Life was originally called The Game of Life, and it's much older than people realize. You know the game where you spin around and get married, and
the board game.
Yeah, goes back. But yeah, life. I mean, sometimes if I just say, hey, lighten up,
right?
It's just life.
Yeah.
Some people kind of interpret that as, oh, well, my life is more important than that. I'm not going to treat it so trivial,
Yeah.
But if you do lighten up, it's amazing because you're going with the flow then. It gets back to this flow,
right?
The quantum flow of what you're doing.
Right.
And it can be a great experience or it can be a tough experience. It's kind of like what you choose, and it's kind of like this karma thing. But the karma kind of lays back into this now moment in that a lot of people think that it's, the karma is always going to happen at a later time.
Right.
When in fact, it's probably happening right now.
Exactly.
It's like what you're doing, why you're doing it.
It's in process.
It's in process.
Right now.
That's the beginning of the karma moment.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't necessarily actually happen later on.
Which is
it's
cool
all,
because you can change it.
Absolutely.
You can alter it.
Sure.
Well,
you can alter anything.
Yeah.
Like I said, now
at any given moment.
Right now, you could say, I'm eating pizza.
Sure.
Or I'm not eating pizza.
Yeah.
I don't know why you would not.
Right. I don't either.
I mean, pizza's the greatest thing in the world.
Isn't it?
Isn't it? I mean,
oh, God.
Vegetarians love pizza. I mean, that's like.
I got to tell you this funny story, just 30 seconds or less. Okay. When I was a kid, my parents had me go stay at my cousin's house. Okay. I had never had pizza in my life because I just didn't like the way it looked. It just didn't look good. I'm like, I don't put that in my mouth.
A little weird looking.
Yeah, so I get to my cousin's house, and basically, they had a lot more kids than we did, and pizza was for dinner that night. And they said, you're going to eat pizza or you're not going to eat. That's all we have.
They didn't say that right off the bat, did they?
Yeah, because I said I don't like pizza.
Oh, okay. Well, you said I don't like pizza. Okay.
Yeah, so they said, well, that's all we have, so you're going to eat pizza.
Right.
I was a little kid, so, I'm hungry. What am I going to do, right? So My first bite destroyed my life.
Yes.
Destroyed my life. Yeah. And from that day forward, I've just been madly in love with pizza.
Yeah.
Not all pizza, because some of it's kind of crappy. But
well, no, we're talking good pizza.
Right, the real deal.
Yeah.
And so, again, that experience. So you were talking earlier about, well, my life and your life and her life and his life and all that stuff. Really, technically, it's life with a capital L, and it's not mine, it's not yours, it's all of ours.
Right.
So it's my experience in life. You see, people will say, well, life sucks, it's not fair. I'm like, no, life is absolutely spectacular. It's sometimes the things that happen in life that suck and aren't fair.
Right.
Okay?
And it is fair in that
that it's equal for everyone. Perhaps not acted upon equally, but that electrical source of all life is available and functioning and feeding everyone with that energy force that is what we call life.
Well, and I don't mean to be funny when I say it's fair. Well, in that we create it.
Yeah.
So when a person says, "Oh, my life, it's horrible."
Yeah.
Well, you've just created that horrible situation.
Sure.
Now, things come to us. Bad things.
Sure they do.
We've all had it.
Yep.
Relatives pass, friends.
Sure.
Breakups.
Yeah.
Just,
car accidents, falls, illnesses,
You
disease.
get fired. I mean, we could dwell on all that, but the main focus here is that all of this, if you really think about it, if you can understand that it's happening for a reason, it's all to redirect you to going home.
Yeah.
Home for you is not home for the other guy.
Right.
Home for you is special.
Right.
And that's what does make you special, because your home is different. And home is that state of pure bliss. It's where we all want to go. It's where we want to dwell.
Yep.
It's where we want to live. And we want to share this beautiful place with others.
Yeah.
It's just really tough.
It's paradise.
It's paradise. It's tough
garden.
to get there yourself, and it's even tougher to bring somebody with you and be in that same state. But if that's what you really want, you create that. But if you constantly say, this sucks, I can't stand this, I don't want to do this, take all that out of your mind.
Yeah.
Remove it. Remove all negative affirmation.
Right.
And then flip it, and then have a good now moment. And then maybe you'll have some good karma.
Sure.
It's all tied to one another.
Yeah.
It's just one singularity of thing. And that's what I was getting kind of to before. It's that,
I agree with
it's
you
all
entirely. And the thing about all these things is, I spent, like you, decades researching, trying to figure out so many different things. And, in my years, I've seen children die of cancer. I've seen people, horribly disfigured in accidents. I've seen,
seems unfair.
Yeah, exactly. It's
why
all
would
of
a
these
God
horrible things, right?
Why would God do this to these people?
Right. Until I finally came to the understanding and the conclusion that basically it just happens.
Someone told me, one of my teachers.
Yeah.
I think I've had maybe 5.
Yeah.
And if you're on a spiritual journey, there's sages, mentors, people that will guide you, light seekers, workers, whoever they are.
Angels, which
Angels,
is
of
basically
course.
a messenger.
I won't go as far as saying Palladians or anything like that, because the jury's still out on all that.
Yeah.
But whatever you want to think.
Yeah.
There's.
We should talk about Pleiades.
No, we were going to. Yeah.
Okay.
They're
go
very
ahead.
interesting, because for a time I thought I was one.
Yeah. Well, maybe you are.
You never know.
We don't.
It's just a word, and what does it mean?
Right.
I mean, who knows? But I think I just lost my mind. I completely just went way off.
Yeah, because I threw
Bam.
you off.
Yeah, that's okay.
We were talking about who we were, and all of that good stuff, and who we think we are, and the path that we're on, and these bad experiences, and how things happen, and we just have to really get to a point where we have to understand and accept it. Just things do happen. It's not random.
Well, yeah, and that's what I was telling you about this gentleman who I consider a teacher of mine.
Yeah.
And he said,
you were
to
talking
me,
about the 5.
Yeah, the 5. Yeah. But this was just one.
Yeah.
It was one of the early ones, but he was really tough on me, because whenever I'd ask a question, he'd always ask a question back.
Yeah.
What is this? What do you think it is? I'm like,
know, right?
you're not as smart as you think you are. Am I as smart as you think I am? And it's just, and
My favorite
it was
teacher
exhausting.
student, real quick, my favorite teacher student is student says to the teacher, "Who was I in a previous life?" And the teacher says, "Who wants to know?" Yeah. So anyway, your teacher guy keeps throwing these questions
before I
at
forget
you.
the second time,
Yeah.
he told me, he just looked me straight in the face, and I said, "Well, all these bad things happen, around. You just see it.
Yeah.
Why would, if God is so great, why would he?" And he's like, "Hey, plain and simple, these people signed up for it." And I go, "What?"
Right? I've heard
They
that so
signed-
many times.
I know. It's a reoccurring theme
Yeah.
that I hear, not just from this gentleman, but from other teachers and really influential people who I believe know what they're talking about. They tap into this universal vibration of love, and they're like, "Hey, these people signed up for it. It's what they want to. It's what they're experiencing this go around." Now you have to kind of subscribe that our souls are forever.
Sure.
We've been here forever.
Yeah, well,
and that
energy
we
can
and that
never
we
be destroyed,
reincarnate. And a lot of people, especially in the Judeo-Christian, maybe don't see the reincarnation. And reincarnation doesn't mean you come back the same.
Yeah.
It just means there's this energy, and it's just coming in and having a different experience. So put it this way, if I've been around forever,
Yeah.
since the beginning of time, wherever that was,
Yeah.
but we'll just quantify it. Millions and millions of years ago. Okay, something that you can't even quantify.
Billions
Okay,
and
yeah.
billions.
So, and you know what? It might have only just been yesterday. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the fact is that, hey, if I've had so many wonderful experiences doing this, and this, so I want to come and have this.
Right.
Knowing that I could come back and through that experience, that life lesson, my soul is actually becoming of a higher vibration. And I think what we want to achieve is get to the point where if there's these 12 dimensions, this is what I've heard.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the chakras and the energy points inside and outside of your body.
Yeah.
And you tap into this, but supposedly 12 is this beautiful number, and the 12th dimension is the highest. It's pure energy.
Yeah.
It's what God is.
Yeah.
And not
Perfected.
Perfected. And not
Proven perfection.
and I don't
Through
see,
experience.
I don't know because I haven't. I can't say.
Yeah, because you haven't seen it.
I haven't
been
seen it. Well, I've tapped.
there. That you remember.
I've had maybe a little bit of the experience of seeing it at one time where I had this near-death experience. The fact is that to get there, I'm not sure if we can ever truly get there. So it might be a lower vibration. I don't know if it's the 10th dimension. Yeah, can you even quantify it? I don't know.
Oh, there's another now moment.
Yeah,
going
there we
on.
go. It just was by accident. Yeah, boing. But who knows? I mean, but that's just it. I'm here to, even if I'm supposed to come here and be an invalid and have that experience.
Yeah.
That's not a bad thing. Put this way, there's a takeaway there.
Yeah.
Something that that could be so beautiful, and that I just can't see it from here.
Yeah, and I, like you, have heard the same thing for so many times, and that is, you signed up for this.
Yeah, you signed up for it.
Wait a minute. What do you mean I signed up for? Why would I do something?
I don't remember
like
signing
that?
anything.
Right? Yeah. So I looked at it kind of in a different way. I'm like, okay, perhaps I did sign up for some specific experience that was missing in my previous experiences that I felt would complete me.
Yeah.
But perhaps I just signed up for whatever this experience may throw at me.
Right.
What if it was just a blanket agreement? So look, I'll go back down there, okay, into consciousness, or out of consciousness into this present reality that we call life in this existence. And I'm willing to take whatever's thrown at me
Right.
in the process.
In fact, it could just be as vague as that. It could just
Right.
be, well, I've had these wonderful experiences. Just give me a life of, destitute or something like
Sure.
that, and let me see what that is. So not even something specific, just
Right.
saying, here, hey, roll the dice, and whatever happens, happens. Maybe even during that lifetime, you may have a portion of your life where you're having, give it to me.
Right.
And then maybe you shift.
Sure.
And you learn.
Yeah.
And maybe you get it.
Sure.
Or maybe something sparks. But maybe hey,
Yeah.
you're on
Or maybe you did sign up to get hit by a car, only something along the way before the car shows up sent you in another direction.
right.
That you
It's
needed.
like Being There.
Yeah.
The movie.
And not only you needed it, but someone else sharing that experience with you needed it.
Peter Sellers gets hit, not hit bad, but he
Yeah.
gets backed into, and very wealthy guy,
Right.
Runs into him, and he's kind of homeless at this point. I won't,
Yeah.
but it's a movie called Being There. Check it.
I don't remember that movie.
Oh my God, this is brilliant. It's really, I call it the one movie that Kubrick didn't do, but should have, but it's in that kind of genre.
Yeah, I have to
but
check
it's
that
amazing.
out. Cool.
But what it is, it's amazing. This guy has nothing.
Yeah.
He's thrown out of his place.
Yeah.
Car backs into him, and all of a sudden he's being taken care of. So here you go.
Yeah.
You just never know.
Right.
So just
You don't know. In fact, the guy that wrote "Walking on Sunshine," okay, the song.
Something bad happened. I don't want to.
Everything bad happened.
Oh, okay. Well,
and as a desperation, just as a joke, sat down and wrote "Walking on Sunshine."
yeah. Well, probably cheered him up for that day.
And then turned him into, a guy that got everything back.
Right.
He made a ton of money on that song.
It's like the band Badfinger. A lot
Sure.
of bad things happen to them, so maybe you got to be careful what you name your band.
The Ham brothers, I think, right? They were Pete Ham and his brother.
It's a shame. I mean,
they
they
were
had some great
suicides, and it was horrible. Yeah.
Yeah.
But all of these things are experiences that you and I might look at and say, "Oh my God, that's terrible." I can't imagine that ever happening to me. I'd hate for that to happen. But maybe sometime in another experience, we actually want that.
I don't like dwelling on all the negative stuff. I'd rather be positive, especially for the sake of this conversation too.
Sure.
Because I start feeling like when you start telling me some of these stories and stuff about, I start feeling it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't even want to hear it. It's very much like you'll go to an event and someone will be talking to you and they're telling you about stuff that you just don't want to hear. I won't even tell you, it could be some health issue or something, whatever.
Yeah.
But you just...
You have to. I agree with you entirely, and I hate talking about that stuff too. But in the context of where we were, I figured I'd bring it up. But what we're at in all of this is we can choose. We can set boundaries, and we can say, "Look, I don't want this negativity in my life. I don't want to hear these things. I don't want to see these things because it will wear off on you."
Right.
If you get up every day and check the news and see what's going on, and you see all these people are starving, and all these people were murdered, and all these people were, eventually,
there you go again.
But I'm saying eventually, all that is going to take a negative toll on you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So go smell the roses. Go for a walk in the forest. Do these wonderful things.
So if you're having a bad now moment,
Yes.
change.
Sure.
Just remove yourself from that thought. Remove yourself from that situation. I hear
just redirect.
Yeah, redirect.
Yeah.
Redirect, and it almost doesn't even matter where you redirect. Just redirect, knowing that whatever you do probably will hopefully be a better situation. The fact is that most people have a hard time just getting out of a certain situation. They're almost it's almost as if they want to inflict themselves pain being with the wrong person or in the wrong situation,
But you also get frozen, though. Have you ever been driving down the road and all of a sudden your front tire goes off the asphalt? And you can be on a straight interstate, right? Mm-hmm. But it takes quite a while to get back on the road again because you're thinking to yourself, all I got to do is turn left. All I got to do is get back on the asphalt. But you can't. You're like frozen.
Well, that's that split second that, But then again, if you're a good person, and you have an undying love for goodness, then I think you'll be taken care of. Whatever will happen to you will happen for a reason. But if you're doing the right thing, you'll be allowed to do it.
I agree.
I really believe that. Yeah. Some people get shut down, but doing the right thing doesn't necessarily mean doing the right thing according to the laws of the land.
Yeah.
But according to the laws of the universe.
Right.
Difference.
Universal law.
Yeah, universal law as opposed to man's written law.
Sure.
Because
universal law is essentially immutable.
Right. Some people will say, "Oh, well, it's karma because I was going too fast. I was going 60 miles instead of 50 miles. I went off, blew out my tire, and I messed up my car."
Mm-hmm.
And some people say, "Oh, I was going too fast. That was karma and stuff." But all you had to do was maybe just slow down a little bit. See?
Yeah.
You'll get there.
Yeah.
Everything will be fine.
Relax.
And
You're absolutely 100% right. I remember many years ago.
I don't know if I'm right.
No, you are, because I remember many years ago I was on a highway headed to work, into the city, and the guy in front of me coming up to the toll plaza was eating a bowl of cereal while he was driving. I'm serious now. Eating a bowl of cereal while he was driving. And he was impeding traffic because everybody was stuck behind him. He was noodling around trying to find his change for the toll booth and all that stuff. And then finally he got through. And then we were stuck behind him, trying to get around him. And then finally there was a hole in the traffic, and we all blew past him, wow. Finally got away from that guy, and then like 40 minutes later on the other side of town, he's in front of me. As a reminder that everything I just did and everything that I just went through was futile, because he didn't care when he got there. You see?
Yeah.
He had that peace about him that it really didn't matter. And me, I was rushing. Everybody else was rushing, and I got to get a hold of this guy. I got to get in front of him. And ultimately, he still got there before we did.
It reminds me of a time I was very young, and we were driving along a shore road by the beach.
Yeah.
And, some of these little towns, the speed limit goes down.
Yeah.
So, and we're driving down, and this guy that was driving, he was getting honked at. And he kept going, "Why are these people honking at me? Why are these people honking at me?" And it was because he was going too fast. Okay. And after about different people honking at him to tell him to slow down, he didn't get it.
Yeah.
Policeman got him.
Right.
And he realized, that's
what it was. Yeah.
Trying to help me.
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm talking about. If you're paying attention, pick up on those beautiful things that are around you. They're there to help you. You're not alone.
No.
You've never been, and you never will be. And although this life feels like at times we're so alone, and sometimes we feel like, we can't be with the person we want to be with.
Right.
Maybe we haven't even found that person.
Yeah.
Maybe we're searching. But they're there.
Yeah.
You'll find them. It may not be how or when or why or how you envisioned. It's probably going to be different. But think positive. Know that it's there.
Yeah.
And that you're going to have that experience.
You know what helps me?
That's you know what that is? That's the power of positive thinking. And I don't mean to sound too hokey, and I cut you off. We'll get back.
It's okay.
A lot of the Disney movies, they have this, you got to believe, believe.
Right.
And I always thought that's kind of hokey. But then, when you really come down to it, it's knowing.
Yeah.
It's not so much believing.
Yeah.
But it's the belief.
It's in belief in the process.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
The knowing.
There is some, the very, very beginning of it it starts with a belief. But that belief comes with a knowing. And knowing that, hey, everything, I need to pay attention. I need to be with myself right now in this now moment. Mm-hmm. And then everything will play out to be okay.
Yeah.
And that, the tortoise won the race.
Yes.
People forget.
Yeah.
People forget.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be the sometimes tortoise. Just
eating a bowl of cereal.
Sometimes just the life of, a balanced, kind of easygoing things where there's not a lot of drama.
Yeah.
All these people attract drama. I don't know why they like it. Maybe they think they're in a movie or something, but it's not fun.
So you should get good at it.
I don't know.
What you said about alone, because a lot of people truly feel alone.
Yeah.
But one way to look at alone is the word itself literally says all one. And so even though you think that you're alone, it's in that moment that you could come to the truth and the understanding that everything and everyone is all one. And it's the oneness of things that binds us all together. When your friend walks in the room and they're crying and you all of a sudden break out in tears, well, you don't even know why they're crying. So what are you doing crying? Well, you're crying because you're them, and you feel that emotion, you feel that pain that they're going through. So all of us are deeply connected with each other. If we would just understand that and accept it, that there is no other, okay, and that what we do to other, we do to ourselves. And this is closely related to karma and the now moment, which we've been talking about today. And if you're doing something that you don't like or isn't pleasant, then just stop it.
Stop it. And now.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
Now. Right now.
Exactly.
Don't continue this.
It's so easy.
Take control of yourself.
Yeah.
And you do not need to continue this any longer.
Right.
Change it up.
Yeah.
And it'll be good.
And this is speaking to me right now. It really is. Because there's so many times, I mean, I can talk about all this stuff, but applying it is a whole other game.
Yeah, and that's what we're here for. We're no different than anybody else.
Nope.
We've been through some different experiences and stuff, and we're sharing them with you. The fact is that I wouldn't be speaking of this unless there was some validation behind my words.
Absolutely.
And so when I tell you this, we're not just speculating.
No.
We're going, hey, because we've all been there.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't matter what age you are or who you are or what color you are or anything else.
Yeah.
Everyone literally kind of goes through the same rack of emotions.
Yep.
And it's unavoidable. And we're here, really, what are you here for?
Yeah.
Are you here to have fun? Well, maybe not. But you're here to find joy and happiness.
Yeah.
To find peace.
Yes.
And a
to,
beautiful life.
And to prove it. To prove that that what this experience is. See, it's the castle story. If a kid grows up in a castle and never does anything but stay in the castle and has servants and food and everything all taken care of, they have no idea what it's like outside the castle.
How did you know about my youth?
It was just a guess. Yeah. But they have no idea what it's like out there not being in a castle.
No, you really don't. You're shed from reality.
Right. So when your car breaks down on the way back to the castle and you find yourself, with no cash, no money, and somebody gives you a ride and helps you out and feeds you and does and they don't really have what you have. And then you start to say, okay, well, now I really can appreciate going back to the castle, because I've had that experience.
I know how good it is.
Yeah, to show me that what I have really is good.
Right.
But if you don't do it, you don't know.
Right.
If everything was always perfect, we would know it was perfect. That's why we're here.
Sure.
We're here to prove what perfection is by imperfection.
And it doesn't come as you may think.
No.
It can be the little things, perfection in the little things. It's not like you have to win, the big game or the big race.
Right.
In fact, life, the game that you're playing, your life, is measured mostly by you, because most other people could really care less.
Sure.
We all want to think that we want to have the best eulogy, and have some profound words written on our tombstone. I'm sorry, that's not where you're going. That has no relevance. In fact, what it really comes down to, it's how you communicated with people, how you touched people.
Yeah.
What the thought of what they think of you.
Sure.
Not that you made $1 million, but maybe he or she treated me kindly.
Mm-hmm.
They were a good person. This is what makes the world go around, not the other stuff.
Yeah.
The other stuff is just an illusion.
On our headstone will be a birth date and a date of death.
Right.
And between those two dates, there's a dash. It's what we did with that dash.
The dash is actually the important part, right?
That really counts.
Wow.
That's
I
the
love
important
that
thing. Yeah. So mind your dash and just have a spectacular now moment.
This has been a heavy but wonderful discussion.
Yeah, it's been awesome. Thank you again.
Is there anything else that...
Just wish me luck in applying everything that we've taught ourselves today.
And that is kind of a last thought. The hardest thing is to heed our own advice.
It is. It's very difficult.
It's very difficult. And although I may say these, beautiful words and someone, is listening out there and going, wow, I really understand that, I connect with that. It doesn't mean it's any easier on my end or your end, particularly to take our own advice.
Sure.
But at least we're talking about it. We're aware of it. We're conscious of it, and we're sharing it.
Yeah.
And if nothing else, if this goes out there for good, then wonderful.
Yeah.
But who knows where it'll go? But I'd like to think that it latches into a lot of people, and they can take it and use it to their advantage and make their life maybe a little bit better.
Yeah, I agree with you, because that's what really matters, isn't it? How do I apply this to my life, or to life, to my experience in this life, and make that experience better?
Yeah.
And if something you might say, or I might say, or the people that we've studied have said, that we've repeated, if that helps, that's awesome.
Exactly.
That's how we grow. That's how we know.
Absolutely.
All right, man. Have a spectacular rest of your day.
Okay, and on that note, and we won't give it a name.
You've been listening to Quantum Flow Radio. Email us online at quantumflowradio@gmail.com.